Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June 15th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Sunday. Hopefully, it's a fun day for you. Happy Father's Day to all the daddies out there. All those who celebrate. But yeah, how am I doing? How's my day going? It's going all right. I would say good. I will say, full disclosure, I'm just a bit moody today. I'm tired. I don't know. I've had some, just some stuff on my mind, I guess. And, sometimes I can go from being really good to just being like, not so good sometimes, but not really bad. And I know overall today has been a good day. I've had a really good weekend, so I'll take it, especially, up against this whole week that we just got through. You know what I mean? So, shout out to, the person who raised me. Shout out to my dad, Randy. No longer here with us, but, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the person I am, at least, all the good stuff about me, without a person like him, and, the mom who raised me as well. But anyway, shout out to them. What up, what up, what up? No, but yeah, uh, today's been fine. I woke up at the friend's house, got up, got home, um, took a little bit of a nap, got back up, went to the grocery store, and that wasn't too bad. It was busy by the time I got there, but I got there before noon, so at least I was making good time. After the grocery store, we went to the gym. Gym was not too busy, maybe like the first time this week, so I'll take it. Shout out to Father's Day. But I was able to get on all my machines. I feel like I lifted pretty well, especially, for a heavy day, so that's good. But I also think it's part of the reason I'm tired. I'm just kind of, maxed out. Also, my stomach wasn't feeling too great earlier, through the day until I got through maybe like half my workout. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm back now. But I will say I have a good food corner, so we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, post gym, we came back home, and now we're yapping it up. But last night, how did last night go? Last night was good. I had a really good time, hitting up Northside, hanging out with the homies. We went to Chameleon to get some food, and I switched it up a bit. The slices weren't looking too great in my opinion. Like, not that they were bad. One was like I can't remember the type of veg that it was, but it was one I had already had pretty much a good amount of time, so it really wasn't feeling too unique, too crazy. And then the other one was it was ratatouille greens. So I already had like a bunch of the ratatouille greens before. The other one was like this lemon ricotta situation, and longtime listeners know I'm very particular about fruits in my foods. You don't get me wrong, I like a good fruit by itself. Sometimes I like a fruit on certain things, in certain things, but I try to avoid it, especially for savory stuff. No thanks. Maybe for a fish at best, but wasn't feeling it for pizza that night. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get my standard pepperoni slice, and then what else am I gonna get? And I've been really craving a sandwich, specifically, a hamburger, a burger. But, Chameleon doesn't necessarily sell cheeseburgers, but what they do sell is the meatball sandwich, which, once again, listeners know that is a big hit to me. I enjoy that sandwich very much, even though it is a bunker buster. It is a heavy, heavy meal in and of itself. It's like two big meatballs. I think it also has ricotta cheese in it. It's also got some greens. It's a lot. It's heavy. I love it. It's so yummy. Also, it has a really nice, I think it is a red sauce. I don't know if it's a vodka sauce or not. But yeah, I ordered that, and it came with some chips, and it was very yummy. Very delicious. So that was a good meal. Just got to hang out with some friends, do a little bit of bar hopping, So it was a good vibe. I really did have a good night. I just kind of woke up to just a bleh mood for Sunday. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just happens. But yeah, I mean, here we are. We are, you know, towards the evening part of my day as of recording this. So let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. This is gonna be a little bit of a repeater. It's gonna be a bit of a short one. I would say an offbeat episode, just because there really wasn't much to talk about in my opinion. Not that we hadn't already talked about, but there are some updates that I did want to get into. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup, and we will get into those updates. All right. Pulling these updates from CNN. Police say they found a second vehicle belonging to suspect Vance Bolter in Sibley County, Minnesota, and asked residents to be vigilant as officers search the area. A manhunt is underway for Bolter in connection with yesterday's killing of a state lawmaker and the shooting of another. I suppose I should have read the headline, my bad. Police find vehicle in manhunt for Minnesota lawmaker shooting suspect. And then just kind of to reiterate, State Representative Melissa Hortman, the top Democrat in the Minnesota House, and her husband were shot dead in an apparent politically motivated assassination, Governor Tim Walz said. Democratic Senator John Hoffman and his wife were shot by the same person. The couple survived the attack. The man had impersonated a police officer. I did get to see an image of it, and it does look pretty eerie, like the mask he was wearing. But then they also have pictures of him as well, out of that attire, so that people know who he is. Yeah, I mean, just super frightening that he was just click, initiates this this idea, and he just more or less goes to one spot and then goes to another, and they're able to intercept him, but then that leads to a whole other shootout, and he's still at large. So let's see, police are still searching for the suspect in connection with yesterday's killing in Minnesota. State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, and the shooting of another state lawmaker. Police say they found the vehicle belonging to suspect Van Bolter in Sibley County and asked we already read that, my bad. Just read that in another place. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I really wanted to pull from here? No, not so much, but we will keep you posted. And then the other thing we wanted to cover was, let's see, just protests related to the No Kings protest that has been going on this weekend. From ABC News, protests, live updates. 1 wounded in shooting possibly connected with Utah protest. Saturday marks the first full day of Marines on duty in Los Angeles, 1 week after protests against Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, ICE raids ignited in LA and spread to other cities across the U.S., including New York City, San Francisco, Boston, and Austin, Texas. Meanwhile, more than 2,000 No Kings Day protests were held across the U.S. on Saturday to protest the Trump administration and to counter-program the military parade in Washington, D.C., organizers said. More than 5 million people participated, according to organizers. The demonstrations remained peaceful in almost all cities, but as the evening grew in Los Angeles, tensions escalated between police and protesters. Now, we're not really going to get through all of these highlights. You can go to the article, pull from there if you'd like. But Salt Lake City police investigate possible shooting associated with demonstration. A person was critically injured after a shooting possibly associated with a demonstration in downtown Salt Lake City, police said. A person of interest in this shooting is in custody. The victim has been was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, police said. The shooting happened not far from Salt Lake City's Pioneer Park, where a large crowd, estimated to be 10,000, had gathered for a march, according to police. The shooting at tonight's protest in Salt Lake City is a deeply troubling act of violence and has no place in our public square, Utah Governor Spencer Cox said in a social media post. This is an active situation and we're working closely with law enforcement. Now, let me get to the second thing I wanted to cover out of this article. Let's see. I just got to scroll ahead here. Man arrested for driving into No Kings rally in Virginia. A 21-year-old man allegedly accelerated his SUV into a crowd of people at a No Kings Day rally in Virginia, hitting at least one person, according to Culpeper police. No injuries were reported. Joseph Cheklik Jr. was arrested for reckless driving and may face additional charges, police said. So yeah, those were like just two key points that I wanted to pull out of this weekend. Obviously, there's so many moments that you could, pinpoint and focus on. But overall, like the article said, generally, the protests were peaceful. There were some other hiccups and things that flared up or what have you. There were a good amount of arrests. I think I heard at least 60, or that might have just been people being detained. But in terms of people coming to like participate in the parade, or specifically just to be like, happy birthday, Donald. I don't know. I feel like that was less of a turnout, but people obviously did show up. And I'm sure the Trump administration will, gloat about all the big numbers and the high turnout and blah, 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 blah for all this fucking blown out, bloated thoroughfare that, we, threw our military through, Washington, D.C. and all that bullshit. But hey, it is what it is. I'm going to close out the weekend with that. I know this is a bit of a small episode, a light episode. We didn't even do last break, so I guess we'll go ahead and do that and we'll close out. How about that? Leave on a light note, a high note, if you will. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.